The following is a presentation of Project Independence and WCWP. Project Independence is the Aging in Place initiative of the town of North Hempstead. We provide programs and services designed to assist and support the older town residents who wish to remain in their homes as they age. If we don't currently provide a service, we will try and connect you to that service. Call 311 or 869-6311 to get more information or receive services.
Welcome to Project Independence and You.
Welcome to Senior Talk Radio here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. This is Project Independence and You. I'm your host, John Ryan, and my co-host today is Otto Los. Good morning, Otto.
Morning, John.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. That's the main thing. We'll chat as the morning goes on, but so long as we're doing good. This morning we have with us Barbara Feldman, and Barbara Feldman is the founder of A New Start. And Barbara's claim to fame, and she really is wonderful because we've had Barbara on the show before, and I know people have reached out to Barbara, but Barbara is an anti-clutter queen, if that's the proper way to describe you. And when you listen to Barbara talk, it's so true. I mean, stuff that we have to trip over, go over to find the thing we want, and then we put all the junk back where it was until next year when we got to trip over it again. Anyway, good morning, Barbara. Can you hear me?
Good morning, John.
How are you doing?
You're making it easy for me.
Hello,
everybody. It's always a pleasure. It's so great to see you. And Christina, thank you for helping me with my technical difficulties this morning. Oh my God. So, hi, everybody. As John said, I'm Barbara Feldman. Hi, Otto. Hi, Christina.
Morning.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody out there in Radio Land. It's so nice to be here. We're going to talk about downsizing and right-sizing and decluttering. But one of the things I'm going to start out with, like John said, you trip over things. I want to tell you right now, get a pen and paper. I want to tell you what you could purge today. Let's start there. So that you could feel good after this session and say, okay, I did something happened. So number one, throw away promotional water bottles. Does anybody have any of those in their house? You know, are you saving any of these things that people give out? The water bottles or containers like that for any extra mugs would be number two.
I'm going to just jump in, Barbara. I'm jumping in, Barbara, because when you throw these things away, most of them are plastic. Make sure you recycle them.
100%. Yes. Thank you very much for that, John. Yeah.
A thought on the mugs, all right? We looked at our mugs based on a list that you sent out. And one of the issues that comes up with mugs is you get gifts of mugs with pictures of grandchildren and other people. So you wind up with a lot of mugs and they're difficult to throw out.
Right. So you really have to, I'm going to get to like downsizing, but what you do, you put like with like. So put all your mugs together. So say you have 20 mugs in the cabinet, put them all together, take out the ones that are chipped, take out the ones of the pictures of people you don't talk to anymore, or some of them are really worn out or coffee stained, and that's how you kind of cut down on what you have. But if you put like with like on anything, you see the amount that you have, and then you're kind of like horrified. Oh my God, I have 100 mugs and I only drink coffee twice a day, something like that.
You just said something though. If you line up these 20 mugs, you could actually take a picture of them and throw them all out.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's number two is the mugs. Number three is mismatched food containers. How many people have, I go through my Tupperware. Christina, you do, right? Mismatched. And then I already talked about chipped cups and dishes. And, sometimes people hold on to them because you said, oh, so-and-so gave that to me, or it was a special day in my life. But then when you put them together, like you said, with all those other 20, and you say all that I have, what do I need all these for? Does anyone have small appliances that you haven't used in 2 years that are just sitting on the counter there or sitting in a cabinet? You know I went through personally this thing where I was spiralizing and I bought like all these different kinds of, I bought an automatic spiralizer and then I just used the handheld one. So I repurposed and gave away what I had acquired. So that's small appliances. Number 6, a big thing, spices. I try to go through my spices regularly, and many people keep expired spices and don't even pay attention. And then I don't know what it does physically if you use bad spices. I can't imagine that's good for you, but I do know that they don't have flavor anymore, so that wouldn't be good. Condiment packages, number 7. Does anybody have ketchups? We're getting now takeout, so many times they include Chinese food, soy sauce, mustard packets, any ketchups, any of those things. Does anybody have those in a drawer with the napkins and spoons? Somebody? Then we have expired vitamins and medication. That's something that you really need to go through on a regular basis. You could do this today. Number 9, mail. Is anybody out there holding on to their mail and not going through it on a regular basis? I am an organizer. We are move managers, and I hate to tell you how many people just like the mail just piles up, and then it becomes overwhelming. So if you just do these things day by day, it's not a big deal. Number 10.
I'm going to interrupt for one second, Barbara. And that's before when you were talking about spices, I do believe that it's not going to hurt you, but there is no reason to have expired spices. And we don't give plugs for stores or anything like this.
No.
Twice a year, I go to shop and they have such a selection of spices that are inexpensive and buy literally one of everything, the garlic salt, the onion salt, the parsley, the this, the that, and the other thing, and throw the other ones away because it doesn't serve. I don't know what it does, in taste wise. But I don't think it makes any sense to keep that stuff floating around. That's all.
I have a thought on mail too, by the way.
Go ahead.
Like a fanatic when it comes to the mail. 95% of the mail at the least is of no use. You get cruise ship books, you get all kinds of promotional mail and whatever. And what I literally do is, without even opening the envelope most of the time, tear it in half and throw it in the recycling paper file. And it's shocking how much mail you get in a week. If you get 2 or 3 pieces of mail that are really worth something, it's amazing. The rest of it is garbage.
I agree with you, really. And so then I'm going to skip over and then go to newspapers, because while we're on the topic of mail, newspapers pile up too. I personally like reading the newspaper, so I get the Times every week. But every week when I get the new paper, I go through the week before the paper that I didn't finish, and I start on the new one. So it's really important that you keep up on the mail, newspapers, anything like that coming in. So I kind of skipped over, but now I want to go back to makeup and lotions that we all buy, maybe not you guys, I don't know.
I was just going to say, Otto, when was the last time you bought some lotion, Otto?
I need some, actually. I managed, the sun did a lot of damage. I've often thought maybe I ought to just kind of cover it all up,
Well, Christina, you might have lotions or makeup that are there that, that you have to look at and go through.
Yeah, we could donate it to Otto now. Because
there you go. So I don't care if it's old.
So and then, something else that's always like, people have like a mending pile, like they're going to get to, you guys might have things that you got to fix, like a pile of stuff that you got to get to, that you got to fix, we all have those. Get real. I mean, I'm looking at, here we are in a pandemic. We've been doing this like a year. And I, in the beginning I said, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I've done some, and I'm an organizer, but it just gets ridiculous. You're just never going to get to it. I mean, really. So just get honest with yourself. Old keys. We have old keys around in drawers, and half the time we don't know where they even belong or go to. That's another thing you could throw out. User manuals. Those are online. Even like, I just had a problem with my stove the other day, and I went to Google to find, what to do. I didn't look for a manual. You really don't need all those old user manuals. You don't. You could throw those out. And business cards. Is anybody still collecting business cards?
Threw a lot out.
Yeah, throw them out. Throw them out. Throw them out. There's apps that you can right away capture them on your phone. You could take a picture of the business card, capture it on your phone, give the business card back to the person that gave it to you, or throw it out. Just no reason to keep them.
I'm going to jump in here with two things where I'm not disagreeing with you, but the manuals and the business cards, that's very personal, because there's certain people that are not computer. My mother-in-law is not a computer person. If you throw away her manual, she's not going to talk to you ever again. And if you throw away your business card, I'm agreeing. As we get further and further along technologically, my partner at work here, Peter, he'll go to the Google to show him how to do something actually on the washing machine. But the person has to be able to balance that. If they don't want to do it that way, then they need, so for this is a true story. My sister-in-law comes into my mother-in-law's house and starts throwing the stuff away. Well, my poor wife, who is the other sister, has to listen to it for the next month. I can't find this. She threw it away. You got to know what you're dealing with. That's the issue.
Absolutely.
So an adult child listening to this, Barbara's ideas are tremendous, but you have to be respectful of the person you're trying to deal with. That's all.
I'm talking to you, John, or you, Otto, or
I
you,
understand that. I
Christine,
just want to make sure.
each one of us. But to do it for somebody else is always another story. We work in people's houses, and I respect what people have. It's their stuff. And if that's the way they operate and they need their manuals, then they have to keep their manuals.
One of the things to me is, like we mentioned in the last segment here, newspapers, mail, any kind of paper, manuals, office papers, business cards, whatever. One of the great things in North Hempstead that I like is you can use a clear plastic bag for recycling paper. And it's amazing. Every week with two people, we fill up a clear plastic bag with paper stuff that goes into recycling every week. So I'm just saying to people, if you add that up and you didn't do it every week, you're going to wind up with 50 bags of plastic with paper in your house somewhere.
Right.
And it's so easy to get rid
So
of
I
it.
don't, you know how I made the example of the newspaper that I get the New York Times, and I get it every week. And every week when I get it, I go through the week before and make sure I throw that out, anything that I haven't read. So that might be a good idea for you too, with your office papers. Once a week, say Sunday morning, I'm going to go through and take a look at anything I haven't gotten to. And you can kind of make, just like you do with organizing clothes, you put it in this pile, okay, and then you give yourself a week to get to it, or a month to get to it. And then if you don't, it's not important, just kind of move on. But I agree with you. It becomes, all this stuff, if we don't address it, becomes overwhelming. And I walk in to people's homes and they're overwhelmed. And if you kind of like stay on top of this, really, it's not so overwhelming. So that's kind of a good segue to go into right sizing and decluttering. many of you would have heard me before, and I still live by this. My 20% rule. You've heard me say my 20% rule. We use 20% of what we have, and just pause for a second and think about that. We use your bedroom. You use your bedroom. You use your kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, den. I'm sure you don't use a lot of the other rooms in your house, including your basement, your attic, and garages. You know, you use a minimal amount of that. And then if you pause for a second and take a look at your wardrobe, think about how much you wear out of your clothes. Now in COVID, instead of 20%, we probably wear 5%. We wear the same things over and over again. So when you look at things like that, and you say that I'm really only using 20%, it makes you say, well, I've already right-sized, because this is really all the stuff that I need. And my rule is, if you can, and I didn't make this up, the minimalists made this up, but if you could replace something for less than $20 in less than 20 minutes, why are you keeping it in your house for storage? Go get something else that's going to bring you happiness and joy. That's the 20% rule. Does everybody get that? Does it make sense?
I totally agree there.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Otto.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Well,
Good.
basically, I'm saying, so you mean like the 3,000 screws and nails I have in my garage, I should really get rid of?
I would only get rid of 300 or 400. Keep at least 2,500, Otto.
So
I'm
Otto,
serious. I got so
like
many of those.
just like the mugs, put them all out there.
Yeah, I'll take a picture.
Okay, so now I have a list of 10 things, if we can get through them. Yeah,
We can try.
we can try. Okay. To right size. So number one, I want you to start in one place, because it could get overwhelming. Make it 15 or 30-minute sessions. Stay there until you're finished. Start small, like start in the refrigerator or a medicine cabinet or even a junk drawer. If you're really ambitious, you could go to a basement closet, something that I'm sure you haven't been to in a while. And what you want to start doing is separating into donate, dispose, sell. And you might want to repurpose things. So we use colored stickers to organize, and I highly recommend that, because then when you go back, you know what you've done, and make yourself kind of a guide of what your colors are. I could tell you, we use green to go with you, to stay with you, just kind of like green, you're going through a traffic light, think green. And other colors, you can define what you want. And then a good idea is to commit to throw away, recycle 3 items a day. It's not real hard. 3, just 3. Number 2, you should keep boxes and bags and labels handy when you're downsizing or right sizing. And like I said, put colored stickers on and label things as you're going, because when you come back to it, a day or a week later, you're going to forget what you did.
Actually, Barbara, let's go back. I just
Yeah.
got, I just got a look. What are we labeling? I mean, it's silly, like.
We're right sizing and we're decluttering right now. So okay, let's pick. What do you want to do? You want to?
What is the green going on? You said you use green. So what is the green?
I use green is your keeping. So like if you're sorting in your, say, let's go in your closet, okay? We're in your closet, and you want to sort your clothes, and you want to, so my suggestion, as I said before, and we're going to get back to we always go with group like to like. So you might want to group together all your black pants and say, okay, I'm gonna keep these. I like them, I'm not going to keep these, or a maybe. And you can color code those groups as you separate them. So then later on, when you come back, you were questioning, should I keep them? Should I not keep them? If you've already color coded, you say, oh no, I went through these black pants. I like these. I'm going to keep these, and these I can repurpose
Okay.
and give away.
I understand. I that went over my head. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay, it's easy.
And
Yeah.
okay, I got you.
Okay, good. So, and something else is set a realistic timeline, because this is hard. It's really hard to do this many times because it's emotional. Like I like those pants. Like I wore them to somebody's birthday party, and
Right.
I had a great time. So sometimes this is really hard. So set realistic, keep notes, write it down so that you can come back. And never, ever, ever do it when you're tired or hungry or overwhelmed. Take breaks, be kind to yourself. I like doing it with wine if anybody drinks. That's helpful. And stay in that one place. Don't keep moving around. Like, if you're in the closet, don't go from one closet to the other room. Stay in that place until you've finished. Some of the things that you can ask when you have these groups of things, we go back to the mugs. Do I use it? Can someone else use it? Does it make me happy? Can it be replaced in 20 minutes for less than $20? Answer all those questions and then donate generously. Does that help? Do those kind of help you, to kind of direct you what to do with it as you go through?
How do you go first?
Well, I think I'm a organizer / declutterer by nature, right? I think some people are, and then there are some who aren't. In my years of business experience, you go to some people's offices and their table in their office and their desks are relatively clean. And then you go to other offices and you can't see the desk. And everybody functions a little bit differently, if you will. I can't function that way. I need to have less stuff like in my way. But how do you motivate people to do what we're talking about? It's
Little by little.
Yeah, like the elephant, one bite at a time.
Little by little. You can't just, you need an overall plan. Say, okay, my plan is I'm going to attack my junk drawer. Okay. And that's my plan for today. And I'm going to give it 15 minutes. And so you need an overall plan so it's not overwhelming. And if you break it down, I'm sure in business, you break it down little bits by bits, you can get to it. If you look at the whole big thing and you don't have any kind of plan to attack it, you're going to get overridden.
One thing which is a little bit, everybody has to do it individually. Like my partner, Peter, who's been on the show, etc., is neat, and everything in his garage, everything in his life is perfect. His desk is a mess, but he wants it a mess because every time he cleans up, he's like complaining. You told me to clean up, John. I don't know where it is now. I can't find it. He can walk to his desk and touch what he wants. And if I go looking for something, I'm lost. But that's a style.
Listen,
This house
everybody's got their own wiring, and like what works for them. I have, I thought this was quite interesting. I deal with hoarders, and sometimes not really bad hoarders, but I deal with some hoarders. And what I find amazing is that they can find what's in their piles. They know what's there. It's just amazing. So everybody, whatever the way you're wired, some people need a clean desk. I personally put everything in one pile and then go through the pile. But I don't, because I have to start out clean, kind of like you, Otto, same thing.
Well, you said something too that I think is important, and that is to have realistic timelines. I know myself, like you have a to-do list, you look at it, and you figure, yeah, I'll do this today. So
Right.
maybe you got one item off the list and you got 9 others that you didn't get to. But I think most of these things that we're talking about, you have to look at as a long-term, ongoing. There's no magic bullet that you can just wave your wand and it goes
No.
away. I think it's just you have a long-term mentality as
Yeah,
opposed
no,
to
you
a
need
short-term.
a strategy and a plan. I'm a move manager, and I go into a house, and people like, how am I going to do this? So you need a plan. You need to strategize it, and like I said, you got to break it down bit by bit. You got to sort it. You got to organize it, and then afterwards, you're going to pack it, and you're going to donate, and you're going to sell, but you got to break it down. If you don't come in with a plan and you just like, okay, I'm just going to do this, you're not going to, it's not going to work well for you.
Everything that Barbara's talking about is important. And Barbara by no means is telling you that you have to do every bit of it. But at a certain point in time, you want to do clean things up, especially as a senior, because you have your adult children that are going to come in and probably just throw everything away. So the stuff that's important to you, you should let them know it's important to you also. And we were talking about mugs earlier, and I have a bunch of mugs from my grandkids. They're not going anyplace. In fact, some of them I even brought to work. But we talked about papers. Certain things just get piled up. We don't need them. So everybody has to find the balance in their life that, less is more. That's all. Go ahead, Barbara.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's a very individual thing. We are organizers. We work in homes. We try to set up systems for you. And we're move managers. And then the other thing I want to throw in, during the pandemic, I opened a second company, and it's called All Gone Cleanouts. And it's for all that stuff that you were just saying, that, you've collected all this stuff and your kids are going to come in and they say, oh my God, what are you going to do with all this? So it's important that now you decide what's important to you now, because you're right. We're so busy doing cleanouts. People just collect and collect and collect. I have my own personal theory that I think, like when all of a sudden they gave you an opportunity to get, and you could probably relate to this, John, to get a second mortgage, and all of a sudden people had extra money. Prior to that, people didn't have credit cards. They just spent what they had. Then they had all this extra money, and you had the Reagan years and Mad Men and people saying you needed this, and you have so much consumerism now, and we all have it in our homes. And the younger generation isn't buying that brown furniture that you have used for 30, 40, 50 years and adore. They don't want your antiques. They don't want it. They all use glass and steel and wood. They use wood on their floors. They don't use marble like people did the generation before. It's just really different. So all this stuff that you're saving, I would suggest you now go through, like I said, and keep the most important stuff, and have these conversations with your kids. Seriously. What you were saying, John, let them know what's important to you. Because before you know it, all of a sudden, if it's time to move or it's time to downsize or something happens and you can't get through it. I've had people where they had what are the not split levels, high ranch, where they couldn't get down to the lower level and then the basement for years. They couldn't get down there for years, and then they had to move, and the kids just tossed everything, and they were heartbroken. So it's important that you do this now.
I agree. This is a true story. My kids call my house a funeral home. It's rather ornate. I collect clocks. I collect antiques. I have a lot of gold kind of things and whatever. So a couple of years ago, I probably have 50 clocks, wall clocks, and all these different. They're all good. About X number of years ago, all the girls were in my house. I have 3 of them. I said, listen, someday I'm not going to be here. And I would rather you tell me which clocks you want, and so there's no fighting down the road. 3 girls almost instantaneously said, "What? We don't want any of them." Like, okay. So you're thinking like, oh, they'll all be fighting over my special clocks.
It's all right, Don. I'll take a clock. It's
All right, Christina. But it's the truth, but it's the conversation to have, because some people do want certain things. When my mother downsized years earlier, before she died, she actually said, "Who wants what?" And there were certain things I wanted from my mother. I said, "Ma, some things she made in ceramic, somebody would walk in and throw it in the garbage. It was very important to me. I wanted that." So it's very conflicting for an adult child when that time comes. So it's important.
I totally, like full disclosure, I just lost my mom in November. And so we cleaned out my mom's house, and now you're faced with all this stuff. You face, besides that, I did get my brother to take the piano, thank God. But that's another, people don't want pianos. We finally got somebody to take the pool table. But all these things that you say, oh my God, they're so important. And then you have, and this is something, I have all my parents' photos. That was their life. Now, what does the next generation do with those? That was their life. These are emotional questions that I can't answer for anybody. Everybody's got their own opinion and feelings on these things. So, we can only make suggestions and kind of warn you what's coming up, because that's what happens. It comes up.
The photos thing, as they know, Christine and John know, I'm big on review them and identify the people, mark on there who they are, so they don't end up on a wall in a bar somewhere. There's nice old pictures, and digitize what is worthwhile. And like I have 6 kids, share them that way while you're here, so that they have some meaning. Now, there's the same story. There are some pictures that mean 0 to them. They mean everything to you. Well, that's fine, but at least identify, this was your grandmother or your great grandmother, or, this is, when we did whatever. If you don't identify that stuff and it comes in a big fat box or multiple boxes, it's going to go in the garbage, and all that family history is gone. And in this day and age, there are companies that will gladly, have people I use in Franklin Square that gladly will take photos, scan them, digitize them, and now they're worth something because they can be shared if they choose to share them. But at least you preserved it with some value. Otherwise, it's just like a piece of paper with pictures. They don't know who they are.
Yeah, and you made a good point, that it should be discussed now with your family. We have, I found in my parents' house, and I still haven't determined who it is, but I'm pretty sure it's my grandfather. And he's in an army uniform, but I don't think it's an American army uniform. I don't think it was World War I. I think it was the Polish army. And nobody in my family really knows what it's all about. So that's, it's kind of sad, because that's like my own family history and we don't know what it is, but nobody shared, we all have, I know, like growing up, a lot of things weren't talked about. From the Depression and from World War II in my generation. I don't know if you guys had the same experience. Did your parents talk a lot, or they didn't? Everybody's got a different experience. Otto, was yours? You had.
Well, I mean, they know my story. My father never knew who his father was in 1908, 1909. And I recently discovered who he was through DNA and through a lot of other things, and
wow,
learned. You mentioned your grandfather at the Polish Army. I learned that my great grandfather was wounded in the Franco-Prussian War, and so I'm big into that stuff. But You know, like you mentioned the Polish Army, you could find that out actually by doing some research um, through Ancestry or whatever. Different topic
Okay.
altogether, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So going back to should we go back to downsizing and grouping like with like, because we went through the mugs, we went through your closet.
Where you want to go?
Huh?
I said,
I
where
was
you
gonna
want to go,
say
Barbara?
save 3 pieces per collection. You know, some people say 3 to 5, but you know, and I'm talking about like you're, you know, and again, it's personal. I say save 3 because I'm trying to cut it down. Like photographs you were talking about, you know, pick out the best ones. And again, you put like with like, the mugs, the photographs, the clothing, anything. Put like with like and break it down. And then I'm going to tell you to use your best stuff. Everybody's saving all this china and silver. This is the new, this is the truth. Nobody wants your china and silver. Silver gets melted down. It's just a matter of weight. That's what you get paid for it. Otherwise, use it. I sold my silver a long time ago. I sold my china a long time ago. But if you have it, I encourage you to use it and enjoy it.
I'm agreeing with you there so much.
Completely.
How many people, we have a china closet in our house with Waterford, which was all wedding presents from different Irish family members. So I have complete sets of everything. Some broke because we did use it when we first got married. And so it would chip, etc. But then as the kids started coming around, we stopped. And then bone china or whatever they call it, with a pretty pattern on it that hasn't come out. I couldn't tell you the last time it came out. It looks pretty. My daughter is married for X number of years, got a full set of Lennox. It's still in the box. She didn't even look to see if any of the pieces were broke when she got it. It didn't come out of the box yet. It's in my attic. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. It's this world, especially for the younger people, it's white dishes pretty much. I have 3 girls and I'm, you know, when I say to my house, take something, take what you want. I have like floured plates and different stuff. Anything white that will take, anything else you can keep it. So that's, everybody's very, very simplistic.
Yeah, you know, my mother's dishes are still in my garage and nobody
Okay.
wants them. You know? To be honest, and
So-
obviously we haven't used them either. you know?
So there's a website, replacements.com. So any dishes that you might have that you might want to get rid of, people go on that site to fill in a china pattern. So that's really the only way. You know, I mean, I have people that'll take them and you can donate it, but nobody's using dishes anymore. It's real, you know, I mean, it's like a paper plate generation, or, you know,
That's right.
disposables. It's right.
100%.
Today, pictures have a lot less value because they are easy to take and everybody takes hundreds of them. And years ago, if you had a picture of your grandmother or your grandfather or your great grandmother, that was a big deal. So I think it's important to preserve the old ones. The new ones, people are going to catch up. There's no big problem there. That's just a statement. And then the other one was really just to ask you basically, what are the areas that a new start get involved with the most? Like what's your main thrust of your business?
So a New Start New York we are a move management company, which we are the only A+ accredited move manager in this area. And what that means is I am bonded, insured, I've been audited, all of my people are employees. And what we do is we come in and help you. If you're staying in your home and you need organizing, we're going to come in. And like I said, you need a plan. You need to come in and start with a plan. So we'll come in and start with a plan and break it down and organize you for your goal. If you're moving, which we work with, my specialty is I'm a certified relocation and transition specialist. and I'm a part of the National Association of Senior Move Managers. So I specialize and have been trained in senior moves, which I'm a senior myself, and I've moved 24 times. So I can help you with that. So we will come into your house, and when you're moving and you say, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I've been here, and what do I take and what do I do? And again, we come in with a plan and a strategy, and we will help you choose what to take, what not to take. And then what do we do with everything else? Do we sell it? Do we donate it? Do we pack it and ship it to relatives? Do we pack it and ship it for you? And then my staff, I have 10 people. My staff comes in and we bring in supplies and we pack and we move you and we unpack and we hang your art and we bring in shredders and we bring in people to buy your furniture. And ultimately, my company, which I formed during the pandemic, we do clean out. So we take everything, all the old paint cans and the ladders. And so I learned years ago, we did a clean out, and 2 years later, the new owners came back to the old owners. The old owners had left a ladder in the garage. The new owners used that ladder. The new owner fell off the ladder and went back and attempted to sue the old owner because it was his ladder. It didn't go anywhere, but it's just a little bit more aggravation. So it's just a warning. You don't do that. And so in answer to did that answer your question? What do we do?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Barbara, do me a favor. Just give out your phone number. I mean, everybody listening today, you're talking about decluttering, which is a nice personal thing, but in the move, it's very your service is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
And a lot of the seniors are downsizing, etc. And I know you for years, and I respect what you do, and I respect you as a person. So I have
Thank
no
you.
problem giving your phone number out. So give the number. So if people
All right.
need services,
Great. So my office is 516-625-9459.
516-625-9459.
Correct. And
Okay.
then I'm even going to give you my cell phone.
Okay.
917-656-6685. And I wanted to say, since we're talking about decluttering and, you might not be moving, as for All Gone Cleanouts, my cleanout company, if you just want to get rid of a bed, you're not moving, but you have some stuff that you want to dispose of or moved, or call me. And, I have a truck and we can make donations, or we can dispose of things for you. So, and so many times people I don't know what to do, or they can't get it out to the garbage man, or they can't donate it. And I'm happy, call me. I'm happy to help.
Just in reference to that situation, do you organize a place to drop off a donation, or the person does that and calls you just to make the delivery?
Either way.
Okay.
Either way, I can, COVID's been very challenging. We have many places that we bring to, and then sometimes, we've had where they close the door and they say, we can't take anything, all we want is food, or we can't take anything, all we want is clothing, because the people coming there, they don't want any furniture. They just need food and clothes. So we've had that situation, and it keeps changing. Things are better right now. But we have lots of resources for donations. People, seriously, you could be in your house and say, one of the things we didn't mention were books. People collect a lot of books. I'm an avid reader. I hate throwing books away. Plus, you don't want to throw them away because books are heavy and weight costs money. So you want to repurpose books as much as possible. we've talked about the book fairies on this station before. And then there's a lot of other, I have a book guy that comes and picks up, some of the libraries do take, but we want to repurpose these things.
Okay.
And I can either help you and set it up for you, or you could set it up and we make arrangements. I do a lot of breast cancer donations too. They're wonderful. And yeah, and I encourage you to donate generously, because there's a lot of people out there that do need the things that are just storing up in your house.
You know, it's just a quick story. Yeah, we have time. A quick story is I was at recently, maybe 2 months ago, at the Memorial Sloan Kettering in Uniondale on the second floor. And because I got a better view on the second floor than the verse of the Nassau Coliseum parking lot. And there was so many cops and everybody, and the number of 18 wheelers giving out food and the lines of cars, I was shocked. And I know food insecurity has turned out to be a huge thing during this pandemic, and everybody wants food before a couch or a chair or something like that, which makes sense. I'd rather have my child fed than have an easy boy or a lazy boy, whatever you call that, to watch TV on.
Right.
But it was amazing, the line of people that in today's world, it's heartbreaking that we're in that situation.
It's heartbreaking, and it's right here. You don't have to look
Yeah.
any further. Yeah, it's so again, I encourage you to, you know, I know the church down the block from me, I'm in Roslyn Heights, and they sent out that they needed to, that people need food, you know, it's right here. Yeah, so.
You're in Roslyn, so the JCC is in Roslyn, I think.
Mhm.
JCC, I think I give it to them quite often. They have Mensch Sunday. And from 10 to 12, maybe it's every second or third week, they take food, canned food, etc. So when I know they're doing this, so there's stuff on sale. If we're getting 3 cans of tuna fish, I tell my wife, get a few extra ones, you know, we'll drop it off there. And
Yeah.
spend $20. I'm not being a big shot, but $20 by 100 people is feeding a lot of families.
Yeah. So I had, you know, there's a little church down the block that I give to all the time, and I'll tell you, this really got me one day. I donated. Oh God, the woman called me after I had donated some food, and I donated a rolling thing, you know, for the food.
Okay.
And a microwave oven. And I had been in a house and I donated all that. The woman from the church called me and she said, I had this family come, a family of 4, and they took the train and the bus to go to pick up. And they took the food and the microwave and they used the rolly thing, you know, the rolly thing to take the food in the mic. I will never forget that story as long as I live.
It's hard to believe that there are people around us because it's not visible. You know, you don't have a sign out front of the house or wherever. It's pretty sad, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, you know, in America, right here, Nassau County, you know, that are in a lot of need. So the more, you know, and we just keep collecting all this stuff. So the more that you can downsize, really, and feel free to call me any help I can be in any way to come over and help you, or to talk you down off the ledge. You know, many people are just like so overwhelmed. Please. I'm happy to help.
No, I agree. And again, I'm going to give out Barbara's number, but I'll give out the number first. Her office number is 516-625-9459. And her cell phone is 917-656-6685. And one of my firm beliefs is that when a business person gives you their cell phone, they're only an honorable person, because you can torment them anytime you want. The business phone, you can ring, who cares? But if you have my cell phone, you're going to torment me. And I think that, no. So if you're willing to give it out on the air,
I am.
It just shows you're only going to be getting calls that are complimentary and thank you, or calls because people are in need and they want something from you. So,
Well, I really do believe, we're all in this together. We're all in this life together, and we're here. We are here. What I do hopefully helps somebody, and that next person passes it on and passes it on. We're all in this together. So I'm happy to help.
I'm agreeing with you.
Absolutely.
With some, yeah, it's the truth. Everything we wind up doing via Christina, who produces the show and gets us the guests, the whole purpose is to be conscious of our fellow man. And if we bring up some little thing to help them once in a while.
And woman, right?
I say man generically. Man generically, come on.
A fellow people.
Our fellow
Christina,
people.
I just
our
had to
fellow
throw that
people.
in, Right?
I see Viviana's on, so Otto with 3-2 outnumbered. Let's be good. Oh, Dan's back even now. It's a 50-50 split. Anyway.
But the
Barbara-
last thing I wanted to say, John, is, when all else fails, enlist a professional.
I
And
agree.
that's
100%.
what we are.
I thank you so much. This was wonderful, wonderful conversation, wonderful information, and have a wonderful day. You've been listening to Senior Talk Radio here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We've had Barbara Feldman on for a great morning. Thank you.